Hello, everyone. I'm Frank, and welcome to episode 50 of Learn How to Sudoku, where we take very easy variant Sudokus and we break them down in detail so that you can learn how to Sudoku. Today's puzzle is called Sunflowers by Sotir, and it kind of reminds me actually of Van Gogh's sunflower paintings. It's pretty cool, actually. Anyways, here are the rules. Sudoku. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Place the digits 1 through 9 once in every row, column, and 3 by 3 box. German whisper lines. Digits along a green line differ by at least 5. So it's kind of interesting that the line is not through the center, but is on the side. But I'm guessing that that still occupies the same it's the same how do you say it? It's the same rule set. So for example, if this were a 3, this would have to be an 8 or a 9 because adjacent digits on a German whisper line must differ by at least 5, and the only digits that differ from 3 with at least 5 are 8 and 9. So that's German whisper lines. Interesting. The Dutch whisper is just a circle. So digits along an orange line differ by at least 4. So unlike or similar to German whisper lines, adjacent digits must differ by a certain amount, and for Dutch whisper lines, it is 4. So for example, if this were a 3, this would have to be 7, 8, or 9 to have a difference of at least 4 between adjacent digits. And we know that 3 can only be 4 away from 7, 8, or 9. So that's how Dutch whisper lines work. Then we have black Kropke, where digits separated by a black dot have a ratio of 1 to 2. So for example, if this were a 4, this would have to be 2 or 8 to maintain the 1 to 2 ratio between them. For white Kropke dots, digits separated by a white dot are consecutive. So for example, if this were a 6, this would have to be 5 or 7 to make sure that these are consecutive. And those are all the rules. If you'd like to play along, there's going to be a link in the description. And now, I'm going to get started. Let's learn how to Sudoku. Okay, so probably the best... So these are both 4 and 5 apart from each other. These are also both 4 and 5 apart from each other. So I'm assuming that the circle is essentially the Dutch whisper line. Well, that makes sense. So basically, along this line, okay, let's start with this. Anytime you have 3 cells that are separated by 2 black Kropke dots, and they're all in the same row, column, or box, you know that it has to be a combination of either 1, 2, 4 or 2, 4, 8. So let's start with that then. So this essentially has to be 1, 2, 4 or 2, 4, 8. We're not sure which. Either way, this has to be 2 or 4 in the middle. This is 1, 2, 4, 8 on the outside. This is 1, 2, 4, 8 on the outside. Similarly here, this is 1, 2, 4, 8. And we have the same information here, right? So this must be 2 or 4, and these must be 1, 2, 4, and 8. Now the thing is, because these both require 2 and 4 in this 1, 2, 4 area, this can never have 2 or 4 or, can never have 2 or 4 in either of these cells because they all have to be in these 3 cells. So you can't have 1, 2, you can't have 2, 4, and you can't have 4, 8 as the 2 digits that are separated by the black Kropke dot here. So it must be specifically 3 or 6. Well, if this is 6, this becomes 1. Actually, and we can also, and also we know that you can never have a 5 on a German whisper line, because if you take 5 and you subtract 5 from it, and this is in normal Sudoku, without any like modifiers. So if you have a 5 and you subtract 5 from it, you get 0 or less, which is not a normal Sudoku digit. And if you take 5 and add 5 to it, you get 10 or more, which are obviously not digits. So 5 can never be on a German whisper line. So this cannot be 5. If this is 6, this would have to be 1. If this is 3, it would have to be 8 or 9 here. So if this were 3, this would have to be 8 or 9. This could not contain a 2, 4 here, so this would also have to be 1 if this were 8 or 9. If this is 6, this has to be 1. If this is 3, this has to be 8 or 9. And this would have to be a low digit because 9 would have to have either 4 or below next to it. But we know 2 and 4 can't be here. So either way, we know 1 has to be one of these two cells. So if this is 1, this could be with 7, 8, or 9. But either way, 1 has to be here, which eliminates 1 from the rest of the column. So this cannot be 1. Sorry, this cannot be 1. This can't be 1. Therefore, we have a 2, 4, 8 triplet. Well, because of that, we know 2 and 8 can only be in a 1 to 2 ratio with 4. So this must be a 4, which means this is also a 2 to 8 pair here, because those are the only digits that are 2 away, or in a 1 to 2 ratio with 4. Therefore, these cannot be 8s. We now have a 2-8 pair in column 3, which eliminates 2 and 8 from the rest of the column. And we can't have a 1 and we can't have a 3, 6 because of the 3, 6 pair in the column. So we can't have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, or 8. The rest have to be specifically 5, 7, or 9. So this is 5, 7, or 9, and this is 5, 7, or 9. Well, interestingly enough, Okay, if this is 1, 2, 4, the problem is, again, like I said on a German whisper line, you'll always, well, I didn't say it, but I sort of implied it. If you have a digit that's from 6 through 9, which we call a high digit on a German whisper line, an adjacent digit to it has to be a low digit, right? Because if you take the uppermost a digit from 6 through 9, which is a 9, and you subtract 5 from it, it can only be next to 4 or lower. So any 6 through 9 has to be next to a 1 through 4. And similarly, if you have a 1 through 4, that can only be next to digits that are 6 or higher, right? Because if you take a 1 and you add 5 to it, that gives you 6. And therefore, 6 and higher digits can be next to the 1 through 4 digits. So we'll always alternate between the high and the low set. Well, if you have 4 digits that are in the column, you know, and they're all in a row, you know that 2 of them have to be low and 2 of them have to be high. Well, if these digits were 1, 2, and 4, those would all be low digits. So that would be 3 low digits on top of 2 other low digits, which would have to be on the German whisper line, which means that they would have to be 5 low digits in a column, which is not possible because there's only 4 digits that are low. So this cannot be 1, 2, 4 for the same reason. Therefore, this must be 2, 4, and 8. And it must be similar to this sunflower scenario. So this cannot be 1 or 4. This can't be 1 or 4. These can't be 1 or 4. Therefore, this is a 4. And the low digits here have to be 1 and 3. but we don't know where they are, right? Because those are the only two low digits left, right? We're eliminated 2 and 4 here. So you can have 1 and 3, and then you could be with 6, 7, or 9. So the remaining digits here have to be 5, 6, 7, or 9, because we know 1 and 3 have to be here. But we don't, and these cannot be 6, because 6 cannot be next to 2 unique digits on a German whisper line. But, so this is 5, 6, 7, or 9. Okay, what else can we do? Well, this cannot be 7 in the middle, because if this is 7 in the middle, it would have to be next to 2 lows, which would be 1 and 3. But 7 can never be next to 3 on a German whisper line, because it's 4 away. So this has to be a 9 in the middle, which means there's a 9 in one of these two cells. Which means 9 cannot be in the rest of the column, so this cannot be 9 here, this can't be 9 here, and these can't be 9. Therefore, this is 5, 6, or 7, and this is 5, 6, or 7. Now, 4, 5, 7, and 9, or 5, 6, and 7. We know that 5, 6, and 7 specifically on a Dutch whisper line can be next to 1 or 9 for the 5, or if it's 6 and 7, it could be next to 6 or 7, it could be 1, 2, or 3. So this is specifically 1, 2, 3, or 9 in all of these cells, right? Well, the thing is, this cannot be 2 because of the 2, 8 pair that's already in the box, right? Because that eliminates 2 and 8 from the rest of the box, so this can't be 2. If this is 1, it could be next to 2, which would then have to have a digit of 4. But that doesn't work, right? If this is 1, this becomes 2. This would have to be 4, but this would not have a difference of at least 4. So this can't be 1, which means this can't be 2 in that case. If this is 2, it cannot be with 1, because then the 1 would have to be a 1 to 2 ratio with a 2, which we already have. So the 2 could be with a 3 and then a 6, and that is viable. If this is 3, it cannot be with 3 and 2, because a 2 would have to be next to a 1 or a 4, which are not 4 away from 3. So if this is 3, it would have to be next to a 4, which would be then next to an 8 in a 1 to 2 ratio. And that would be 4 away. Actually, it has to be 5 away from also because of the German whisper line here. So this can't, 2 doesn't work, which means this can't be 3. This can't be 6. So if this is 3, this has to be 4, and this is 8. If this is 9, this could be 8. And this has to be specifically 8 and 4. So either way, you always have a 4-8 pair in these cells. Well, that 4-8 pair eliminates 4 and 8 from the rest of the box, which means this can't be 4, 8, so therefore this is 2, which makes that 8. This 8 makes that a 2, which makes that an 8. Okay. What else do we know? This is 3 or 9. If this is 3, what can it be next to on the German whisper line that's still available? It can't be next to anything. So this must be specifically 9, 8, and 4. So the 9 has to be next to a 1 or 3. The 1 or 3 has to be next to a 9, which is next to the other 1 or 3, which means it's next to a 6 or 7 here. And 6 or 7 cannot be next to a 3, therefore this must be 1, which makes this a 3. Let's see. This can no longer be 9, and this can no longer be 9, and the 9 can only be next to a 5 on a Dutch whisper line, not 6 or 7. Therefore, this can't be 5. This cannot be 2 or 3 because it's next to a 5, so it must be 1, which means this can't be 1. And this can't be 9 because 9 cannot be next to a 6 or 7 on a Dutch whisper line. So this is 2 or 3, and this is 1 or 3. Do we know anything else? This can't be 5. And this can't be 9, therefore this must be 7. Since this is 7, this can't be 7. So now we have a 1, 9, 1, 9 pair in column 3, which eliminates 1 and 9 from the rest of the column, and 7 can't be in the rest of the column. Therefore, this must be a 5. And 5 can only be next to 1 or 9 on a Dutch whisper line. The remaining digits here are what? 2, 3, 4, and 6. Well, 6 cannot be consecutive with 2, 3, or 4. So 6 can't be here. And 6 cannot be next to a 7 on a Dutch whisper line. Neither can 4, actually. So this can't be 4. This can't be 4. This, then, has to be a 4. Which means this has to be 3 to be consecutive with it. This must be a 2, and this must be a 6. This 2 means this can't be a 2, so this is 8, which makes that a 2, which makes that an 8, which makes that a 2. This 3 can only be next to an 8, next to a 4. So 4 is in a 1 to 2 ratio with 2 or 8, but it can't be 2, so this must be 8. And 3 can only be next to a 9 on a German whisper line, aside from 8. So therefore this is 9, which makes that a 1, which makes this 6, which makes that a 3. This can no longer be 3, this must be a 2, and this must be a 1. And we just probably need to just complete, the 6 could be here, and the 7 could be here. We just need to complete the Dutch whisper parts. So what can this be? 8 can be next to 1, 2, or 3, but it cannot be 2, so this is 1 or 3. 2 can be next to 6, 7, 8, 9, but 6 and 8 are not here, so this has to be 7 or 9. 7 or 9 can be next to 1, 3, or 5, so those are all satisfied there. 1 and 3 can be next to 5 through 9, but it can't be 8 here. This can't be 5, though, because we have a 5 here. So therefore, this is 6, 7, or 9. Well, 6, 7, or 9 can only be 4 away from, specifically, 1 out of 1 and 9. Because 9 is 3 away from 6, is 2 away from 7, and is the same as 9. So therefore, this must be 1, which forces this to be 9. This can't be 1 anymore, because it already has a 1 in the box, so this must be 3. Which means this can't be 3. The 3 cannot be next to a 6 on a Dutch whisper line, so this has to be 7 or 9. The 9 can be next to a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but this can't be 1, so this could be 2, 3, 4, or 5. Now, of these digits, only 1 can be 4 away from 5, and 2, 3, and 4 can't be 4 away from either 1 or 5, so this has to be 5, 1, and we don't know what this is. This could be 7 or 9. Similarly, this is 1, so this has to be specifically 5 through 9, but it can't be 5, 6, or 9, so this is 7 or 8. 7 or 8 can be next to 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, and 4 are already taken up in the row, so this must be a 3. This 3 can only be next to 7 or 9, because the 8 is already taken into account, so this is 7 or 9. Now we have a 7, 9, 7, 9 pair in column 5, which eliminates 7 and 9 from the rest of the column. So this must be an 8 then. This 4 can only be next to 8 or 9 on a Dutch whisper line, so therefore this must be a 9. Because the 8 is already taken into account. The 9 and the 1 can only be next to a 5 if they're as a common digit, right? If you tried to make this 6 or higher, it would not be 4 away from 9. And if you tried to make this 4 or lower, it would not also be 4 away from 1. So this can only be 5. And now we probably just do normal Sudoku. So the remaining digits in row 3 are 5, 6, and 7. That's fine. But these can't be 6. So this is 5, 7, which forces this to be the 6. The remaining digits here are 3, 6, and 7. But this can't be 6. That doesn't really tell us much. The remaining digits here are 2 and 4, but this can't be 2, so this is 4, which makes that a 2. Remaining digits in this box have to be 1, 6, and 7, but these can't be 1, so this is 1, and this is 6 or 7, and this is 6 or 7. Well, we have a 6, 7, 6, 7 pair in column 8, which eliminates 6 and 7 from the rest of the column. Therefore, this can't be 7, and it must be 3. So this can't be 3. We now have a 6, 7, 6, 7 pair in row 1, which eliminates 6 and 7 from the rest of the row. So these have to be 5, 8, and 9. Well, these can't be 5 because of the 5, 7 pair in the box, so therefore this must be 5. Which makes this 8 or 9. This can't be 8 because of that 8, so this is 9, this is 8. The remaining digits in this box have to be 2 and 4, and this can't be 4, so this must be 2, this must be 4. Now we have 1, 7, and 9 in the rest of row 2, and this can't be 1, so this must be 1, which makes this a 7 or 9. This 9 means this can't be 9, so this must be 7. This 7 means this can't be 7, so this is 5, which makes that a 7. The remaining digits in column 1 are 1 and 6, and this cannot be 1, so this must be 6, which makes that a 1. The remaining digits in column 2 have to be 5, 6, or 9, and these can't be 9, so this must be a 9. This then has to be 5 or 6, and this is 5 or 6. Remaining digits in column 4 are 3, 4, and 7. Okay, this cannot be 4, so this is 3 or 7. This can't be 3, so this is 4 or 7. And this can't be 7, so this is 3 or 4. Remaining digits in row 7 are 5, 6, and 7. This can't be 6 or 7 because of the 6, 7 pair, so this must be a 5, which makes the remaining digits 6 and 7. So this is 6, 7, 6, 7. The remaining digits, I can't speak. Remaining digits in column 8 have to be 4 and 8. And this can't be 8, so this must be 4, which makes that an 8. This 4 means this can't be 4, so this is a 3, which makes that a 7, which makes that a 4. This 7 makes that a 9. This 7 also makes this a 6, which makes that a 7. This 6 makes that a 5, which makes that 6. And the remaining digits now, this has to be 5, and this has to be 3. This can no longer be 9, so this is 7, which makes that 9. Let's see, this can't be 6 because of that 6, so this is 7, which makes that 6, which makes that 7, which makes that 6. This 6 means that has to be a 7. We have 4 and 6 left. This can't be 4, so this is 6, this is 4, this has to be 2, and this must be 3 in the corner, which we celebrate. Yeah, fairly straightforward. Yeah, I'm not really sure how to articulate why I went this route. This was easy because I saw 5 digits which must be separated by the black crocky dots, and we know 3 of them have to be 1, 2, 4 or 2, 4, 8, which made this 3, 6 very easy. But I don't know how to describe why I saw this part. I guess anytime I do see German whisper lines, I do sort of think along the lines of the low and the highs. So that makes things a little easier here. And that it always alternates between lows and highs there. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Learn How to Sudoku, and I'll see you next time on Frank Puzzles. Take care.